Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Planet for Tech. I hope you all are doing great and learning lots by watching all the continuous episode of this series Python Beginner to Master. So guys, till now we have completed 14th episode of this series, and today in the 15th episode I am going to describe you the new topic, that is functions in Python. So today we are going to understand the concepts of functions in Python, how we can use the function in the Python and how we can create function and what are the other types of function. So those we are going to discuss in this episode only. So let's start. So here in this episode we are going to discuss in all these points whatever I have mentioned here. So you can see the first point is function definition. So we are going to look what the definition, what the ideal definition of function is, and after that we will cover function type. So there are basically three types: predefined, user defined, and anonymous. So anonymous function is called as lambda function, and after that we will look on how to create the function and how to call the function, and after that we will see the variety of arguments, so how we can pass the argument to the given function. So these all we are going to understand one by one, and one more important thing, that is the pass statement we are going to understand here, and the recursion. After that we will look about the you can say the difference between the function and method. So that is not the part of this episode actually, so we will cover that in our next episode. So today we are going to focus only for the function related topic. So let's start one by one. So the first point is function definition. So what the definition of function is, like what is called as function. So here I am writing just so you can understand it. So function means you can say a set of statements which is used to perform a certain task. So you can write it, set of statements used to perform certain task. So this is the only smallest, you can say shortest definition of function. So set of statements, it is saying the statements, more than one statement we are going to have in a function, and that function will achieve accomplish any particular predefined certain task. So uh, to perform a certain task on the basis of the statements, we just group those statements into a set. So that set or that collection of statement you can say is called as a function. So this is the only simple definition of function. Set of statements used to perform certain tasks is called as function. Now let's look about the function type. So on the basis of its definition, there are three types of functions. Predefined function. So predefined function is also called as built-in function. So why this is called predefined? Because we just use these functions. We are not allowed to, we are not supposed to define these functions. So these are basically being provided by the framework itself. Like if you are working in PHP or Java or in Python, so there will be a certain function, and in our previous episodes also we have seen there are lots of functions. So those functions we can use only, and we are not allowed to redefine those functions. So those comes in the category of predefined. So there are some certain function. I'm going to write some example here, like len function is used just to get the count of element in the particular collection, like list or set or definition dictionary, like that. So this is the predefined function. In the same way we have other function like print function, we use just to print anything on the terminal. So that is the print is here also a type of predefined function. So these are the predefined function, and there are lots other function as well. So the function whose definition we are not supposed to define, but we can call that function, is called as predefined. So these functions are being provided by the framework itself. And user defined functions are the function what we define as per our need and as per our project demand. So those comes in the user defined category. And the last one is the anonymous function, lambda function. So these functions are, you can say, uh, the function which is not going to have its own name, and this is a short function. So let's see these three function one by one in practical way. So I'm going to create one function here. So to create the function, we need to use def keyword. Def is, you can say, a short form of definition. I'm going to define one function, calculate. So this way, this is the name of the function, and this colon you have to give just to show like from this line, the function body is going to started. And we have two number. Let's suppose a equals to 12, b equals to 13, and we want sum of this. So let's suppose C equals to A plus B. Just for simplicity, I'm taking this example, and let's suppose the print its result. So this result is here. So here we have to print the result. So see, directly see, we are not able to print, so we have to convert this in a string. So this way we can print. So this is the definition of function you can see here. So here this calculate is nothing but the name of the function, and this is the body of the function. So body start after the colon. You have to make a note here. So this is the only syntax which is different from other programming language. Like in the programming language, what we do, we just write the curly braces like this, and inside the curly braces we write all the statements like this. So this we do in other programming language, but in Python this is not supported. So in Python what it is supported, that is only you have to use the colon just to mention like this is the start of the function body, and after that you have to use the one tab space you can say. So this is nothing but the identification. So with the help of this you can define like this, these statements are under this particular function. If I am going to remove this space, so what it means, it means this particular line is outside this function. So on the basis of this indentation, you can define like which statement is under the which function. So this is the way you can create the function. Now I'm going to call. So this was the definition of function. I'm going to call this function. So to call the function, what we need, we just need the name of the function only, and we have to call it like this. So this is nothing but here we are calling. Here we have calling, and here we have defined it. You can see function definition. So guys, you have to make a note about this. Every time you have to use a def keyword to define the function, and inside the function body, before it you have to use colon, and you have to write some statements, and after the function you have to call it, then only you can use this function. So let me show you this by example, it is working or not here. So let me run this program here. So to run it, we need to write py for Python, and the name of the file is demo.py. So you can see here the result is showing as a 25. So this way guys, you can understand we can define any function whatever we want. Here I have taken the very simple example because my purpose is just to describe you what is the function, not the body statement. So I'm not taking care about the simplicity of this example. Just you have to focus like how we can create the function and how we can use that as per our need. So this is the function definition, def keyword you have to use. So this complete is the function definition, and this is the name of the function, and here we have called this function. So he can see here. So this is the only you can say the way of simple way to understand the function. Now we are I'm going to describe you the other way of function definition on the basis of this different signature. So when we talk about the function signature, what it means. So function signature means you can say the name of the function, the return type of the function, and the arguments whatever it is taking. So those all inclusively called as function signature. So here I'm going to write like function different type of function. So basically on the basis of the function signature we have basically two types of function, like four type of function. So function with argument, you can say with argument, and with return. This is the type 1 you can say. So I am going to show you with sorry, it is not with, it is without argument and without return. So this function is not taking any argument here in this block, in this section, and not returning anything. So it comes in the first type. Now let's look about the second type. What is the second type? So in the second type, what we have to do? So let me uh, redefine this function. So in the second type, we can say in the second type we can without argument and with return we can have. So with return means the function whatever we are going to use it going to return one value. So this is the second type actually. So in the second type we can see we are going to define this same function I'm going to define here, but name I'm going to give it like 2, and let me make it as a 1. So this is the second type you can see here. So in this what we have to take care here, this function is not taking any argument, but it is going to return any value. So let me cut this line here, and we are going to return C. So guys, you have to make a note of here. This is the return keyword we have to use for returning a value from any function. So this function is not taking any argument but returning the value as a C. So this C we have to use here. So let me call it this place. In this place we can call it, or you can have like that C equals to like this, and you can print the C here. So you can see here this function is not taking any argument but it is returning the value. That is why it is called as without argument with return. Now let me show you it is working or not. So let me make it calculate two result, and you can see in the output here it is showing as calculate to result is equal to 25. So in this same way we can have the third type of the function. Let me show you that third type. So the third type is with argument and with return. So this is the third type. So let me make this as a calculate 3. Whatever name you want you can give here. So guys, you can see here. So in this third function, I am just passing these two arguments. So these are the arguments of this function, whatever we are passing, and so it is also called as parameter, you can say. So here we are passing two arguments to this function, and we are getting one value as a return. So let me show you. It's the output. So output will be same. Only the definition we have changed here. You can see the output is same. Calculate 3 result is 25. So this is the third type of the function definition on the basis of its signature. Let me show you the fourth one. So guys, you can see here. So this is the type of fourth, means it is taking the argument, that is why with argument, but it is not returning the value. Instead of returning, it is just printing the value there itself inside the function. That is why it is named as with argument without return. It is not going to return anything, but it is expecting to value as a argument. So here we have called this function. So at the time of calling, we have to pass these arguments, but we are not expecting any return. That is why we have not taken any variable here just to catch the value. Instead of that, we have printed that result inside the function. So let me show you this function call. Obviously, so we will get the same output here, 25. So it is showing the calculate 4 result is 25. So this way guys, we have gone through the different type of function signature. So we have seen like there are four different type of function signature, like without argument, without return, without argument, with return, and with argument with return, and with argument without return. So these are the four different signatures we can use while creating the user defined function. Now let's talk about the lambda function. So the lambda function is nothing but an anonymous function. It is called as anonymous function. Then why it is called lambda function? Lambda function is called because it takes one keyword. It uses one keyword, that keyword is itself is lambda. So that is why this function is known as the lambda function. So let me show you its example. So this is the definition of lambda function. You can see here the functions without a name are declared without using the keyword def are called anonymous function. So this definition you have to memorize just to have the interview phase. So you can see what is the lambda function, the function without a name, the function which is not going to have a name and are declared without using the keyword def. So these two lines you have to understand. Here you can see in the previous example we have defined this function with the help of def keyword. So this is not a lambda function. If we are going to define the function which is not going to have this def keyword and it is using the lambda function, lambda keyword, so that is called as the lambda function. So here you can see to create these functions we use the keyword lambda. So what keyword we use? Lambda keyword use. That is why this function is called as the lambda function. Now let's see the syntax of this lambda function. So this is the standard syntax of lambda function. So you can see here this is the keyword and here we have to pass the arguments. So guys, here you have to notice one thing. Here I have written as arguments plural, but here I have written expression, that is singular. Instead of expressions I have written expression. What it means? It simply means a lambda function. You have to make a note because this is a tricky question basically being asked in the interview as well. So what this means? It means the lambda function can take multiple arguments, but it can't have multiple expression. So this is the meaning here you have to note. That is why I have mentioned here arguments and the expression. So the lambda function is going to have only one expression, that is the business logic, whatever we want, and uh, it can have multiple arguments. So let me show you one example here. So let's see here. So going to write one lambda function x. Let's suppose we don't want to give it a name. So let me swap the LEMD. This lambda keyword you have to use, and after that you have to pass the argument. Let's take the previous example only a and b, and what we are expecting from a and b, we just want a plus b. This we want as a return. So once this will return, so we will catch this value in a new variable that is called x, or you can say output. So in this variable we are going to receive this value a plus b. Now simply we have to print this output function. So how we can call this function? So we have to call output, and here we have to pass those two arguments 12 and 13. So in a previous example we have seen like we have given the name function. The name of the function was calculate, but here you can see the name of the function is not available. That is why it is called as anonymous function, because we are not giving the name of the function. Instead of that we are using the lambda keyword. That is why it is called as lambda function as well. So let's see the let me print this output here. Simply we can print it, and we can see the output. So you can see the result like this. Oh, it's showing error because it is not converted to string. So to avoid this, I can use it inside this as well, like this. But for that, we have to write F here. Then only it will format, otherwise not. You can see here it is showing the output 25 here. So this way guys you can understand what is the anonymous function. So anonymous function is nothing but the lambda function. It can take the multiple argument, but every time it returns one value, and it can use only one expression. We can't give the multiple expression. Multiple expression means if we want to give one more statement like uh, a multiply b, so this is not supported. Only one expression we can give, but here you can see we can give multiple arguments. That is why we can use the comma here, but for the expression we can't use the comma. So this is the point you have to make a note. We are not supposed to give more than one expression to the lambda function, but we can pass multiple arguments. And one last thing, that lambda function we don't need to define the name, we don't need to give the name. That is why it is called as anonymous function. And here we are not using the def keyword to define this function. That is why again it is called as the anonymous function. So this all is about the lambda function, you can see here. Now, so this is all about the lambda function. Now let's see the another point. So the next part is function arguments. So default value arguments, arbitrary arguments, named argument, arbitrary named arguments, and list as an argument. So for this episode, this much guys, and in the next episode, I am going to cover the remaining part. So this part I am going to cover in the next episode. There we are going to understand different variety of arguments, how we can pass different variety of argument to function, and what is the recursion there. So guys, if you have any query or question, so don't forget to ask in comment block. Definitely we will reply you there. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you can get the latest notification of our upcoming episode. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.